The Thief's story by Ruskin Bond follows Singh, a teenage thief who wins the trust of Anil, a kind and simple man. Though he plans to rob him, Anil's generosity and promise to educate him create a moral conflict. After stealing money, Hari realizes that education is more valuable than quick gains and returns the damp notes. Anil silently forgives him, acknowledging the theft through a wet banknote and offering him a chance to reform. The story explores trust, redemption, and the transformative power of literacy, supported by reflective questions for readers. Imagine walking a path where one wrong turn defines your whole life until someone lights a different way. Look at the stark contrast here between the shadowy, lonely figure in the alley on the left and that glowing, magical energy swirling out of the book on the right. This isn't just a story about a petty crime. It is a tug-of-war between the darkness of deceit and the illuminating power of education and dignity. As we step into Ruskin Bond's world, ask yourself if a simple act of reading can really save a soul from the streets. Have you ever noticed how the quietest people often have the loudest impact on our lives? Focus your attention on the question at the bottom of the screen, asking if trust can truly change another's path. Ruskin Bond doesn't write about superheroes. He writes about ordinary people in the Indian hills whose superpowers are simple warmth and humanity. Understanding the storyteller helps us see that this tale isn't about a grand heist, but a quiet revolution of the heart. Every great drama needs a collision between two opposite worlds, and here we have a perfect mismatch. Notice how the narrator, Hari, is defined by his masks and lies, while Anil is defined by his easygoing openness and trust. You have a 15-year-old seasoned pro trying to outsmart a 25-year-old dreamer who sees the good in everyone. Keep these profiles in mind, because the tension comes from wondering if Hari's cunning will break Anil, or if Anil's kindness will break Hari. Con artists know that the best way to open a locked door isn't a crowbar, but a compliment. Follow the flow of arrows downward, watching how Hari moves from a flatterer to a liar, and finally to a pitcher selling a fake smile. It's a calculated game of chess where Hari uses flattery as a weapon to disarm his opponent before even entering the house. Analyzing this manipulation reveals just how cynical our narrator is at the start, making any future change even more miraculous. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can give a thief isn't a weapon, but total freedom. Look at the 3 pillars of Anil's influence listed here: the key to the door, the lessons in writing, and the overlooked profits. Anil ignores the small pilfering not because he's foolish, but because he is silently planting seeds of trust that are harder to break than locks. This highlights a crucial theme. Real education isn't just about literacy. It's about being treated like a human being until you start believing it. We all face moments where we have to choose between what is easy and what is right. Check out the scale in the center. One side weighed down by quick cash, the other holding the weightless but heavy concept of trust. Hari finds that robbing a careless man is actually frustrating because it removes the thrill of the chase, leaving him with a heavy conscience. This dilemma is the turning point of the plot, showing us that the loss of education feels heavier to him than the gain of wealth. There is a heartbreaking irony in betraying someone while they are most vulnerable. Zoom in on the description of Anil's face in that first panel, clear and unlined, compared to Hari's scarred features. Those physical scars on Hari's face reflect the rough, dishonest life he's led, while Anil's smooth skin represents a guilt-free existence. This visual contrast tells us that a life of crime leaves marks that go much deeper than just skin. Have you ever stood at a literal or metaphorical platform, ready to run, but your feet just wouldn't move? Picture the solitary figure watching the train disappear into the smoke. The escape route is wide open, yet he remains stuck. That hesitation isn't about fear of the police. It is the invisible tether of a relationship holding him back. Identifying the unexplained reason for his stay is key to understanding character evolution in literature. A master thief knows how to read people, but tonight Hari is reading a reaction that hasn't even happened yet. Notice how the text separates the typical reactions of greed and anger from Anil's predicted reaction: sadness. Hari realizes that while money can be replaced, the bond of trust he just severed is a permanent loss. This is a moment of high emotional intelligence, proving Hari is more than just a criminal. He has a conscience waking up. It often takes a cold, uncomfortable storm to finally clear the fog in our minds. Look at the damp, crumpled money in the illustration versus the glowing idea of writing whole sentences. The rain washes away the glamour of the theft, leaving Hari with the cold truth that being a big man requires wisdom, not just cash. This connects directly to the power of education as a tool for dignity, which is the story's true treasure. Silence can sometimes scream louder than any shout, especially when you are expecting a punishment. Focus on the wet note being handed over, and the text noting that neither Anil's lips nor eyes betrayed the secret. Anil acknowledges the theft by paying with the wet money, but he chooses forgiveness over confrontation to allow Hari to grow. This demonstrates that true reform comes from grace and opportunity, not just fear of consequences. A smile can be a mask or a mirror, and finally we see the mask fall away. Observe the transition from the calculated smile we saw earlier to this genuine one that comes without. Hari no longer has to sell himself. His transformation is complete because he has found a place where he is accepted. The core message here is that compassion is a far more effective deterrent to crime than any prison cell. When you're asked to explain a character's motivation, you need to dig deeper than just, he felt bad. Notice how point number 1 prioritizes the realization of education's value over simple guilt. Hari didn't just return because he liked Anil. He returned because he realized his own potential was tied to that house. For your exams, always back up your claims with specific text evidence, like the quote about whole sentences. A great answer is like a building. It needs a solid blueprint before you start laying the bricks. Follow the structure from the introduction down to the conclusion, specifically focusing on the 3 body paragraphs regarding trust, education, and forgiveness. You are building an argument that Anil's passive actions were actually active catalysts for change. Mastering this 5-mark structure ensures you cover all aspects of the prompt without getting lost in summary. Stories end on the last page, but the questions they raise should follow us out into the real world. Look at the second question, asking what turns a 15-year-old into a thief in the first place. We are moving beyond the text to analyze the societal cracks that boys like Hari fall through. Critical thinking involves applying fictional lessons to reality, considering if a second chance is more powerful than punishment in our own society. If this lesson helped you, please like and share it with others who may benefit. Subscribe to Pragya Education for more clear, concept-driven learning. Keep learning, keep growing with wisdom.